Okay, so we're gonna work on finding the spare tire. Mine is in the back of my car. You need to make sure, as Larry warned me, you need to make sure you know where your spare is. And also, we came back here a minute ago and Larry said he loosened this and that there's a little wing nut here on that's got the tire set in. And make sure it's loose enough to where you can handle it yourself. You know, because that would be bad if you get back here to get your spare tire and you can't unscrew it. So I'm just going to be just like I'm out there on the side of the road, and now I want to make sure I got this somewhere that I can find it again, right? Get this tire out. So it looks pretty good. Always make sure that your spare tire has air. What am I looking at here, Larry?
Okay, we have a jack and a jack handle and a lug wrench. This is our lug wrench, this is our jack, and that's our jack handle. This is the jack.
Okay.
This is the jack handle. This is the lug wrench. As we can see, they made these three pieces do a lot of things. This fits on here, which goes in this hole, and we turn the jack to make it go up.
This is gonna go, all right, on mine I have this piece that I pulled out, and then it has like this hole right here. And the first thing I'm gonna do is take the hook, and then I'm gonna
take the handle, and it.
But I have a question. Isn't the first thing I need to do is loosen the nuts on the?
The first thing I would do is it tells you where to put the jack on the car, and I wouldn't raise the wheel off of the ground, but I'd have the jack in position.
Okay.
So that I have my car secure. I don't want to take the lug nuts loose and then it fall. So I'm not going to raise the wheel up, but I'm going to have it where it's in position.
Okay.
And it's ready to go, so that if I get in a bind and things start to move, it doesn't fall on the ground. We want to remember that all cars are different. Some have a little plastic piece we have to remove for the jack, some do not. It's all in your owner's manual, and there's an instruction sheet on the spare tire that'll tell you what to do. So make sure and check yours.
Okay, so now here we are. We've got the jack under the car. We're going to go ahead and practice getting it to turn. And one of the things that Larry was just showing me was that there's a notch, an exact location that is the best spot for the jack to be placed. And whether you have a flat in the front or on a rear tire, you're still going to be putting your little jack on the side of the car. You don't put the jack under the rear bumper anymore or under the front bumper. So this is really good to know as well. All right, so now I've got this turnaround. But I can start out, probably makes the most sense instead of just to use my hand and get this as high as I can by hand. Because really this is so that you have leverage. So we also want to make sure that it's squarely underneath the bumper. Larry just directed me to push it in a little bit and not be so, you know, want to make sure that you've got a good angle as you're jacking this up. See, it's a good thing I'm practicing. All right. Now I'm going to use, and I'm going to go to the right.
And that's probably good for damage.
Am I doing this correctly? For my car, I need a special key. I know that. And there's one lug nut that fits to the key. Okay.
There you go. That way your leverage is going down.
Look at that.
And they're real hard.
Look at that. I can't even move it. This is exactly what I was worried about.
And put your foot squarely on the lug wrench with your heel on the end of it and push. Put the lug wrench where it's just about at 90 degrees. That's wonderful.
Good? Okay. I'm on a roll. Let's see.
There you go.
Awesome. That was pretty cool.
We're going to loosen all of them on the ground because we don't want to roll it off of the jack.
Okay.
And after we've just loosened them, not taking them off. Then we're going to raise the car up and then take them off.
Okay.
But we can't loosen it with it in the air.
Okay, so that's the plan. Well, all the lug nuts are loosened now. I jumped on all of them. It worked like a charm. And now we're going to jack up the car. Does it take a lot of upper body strength to lift a car? That is what I wonder.
Okay, put your hand on the tire and see if it'll move.
I heard something crack.
Just see if it'll move a little bit. Nope,
No.
Not yet. We don't want it too high because then we don't have to lift it. We want to slide it. So just when it clears.
This is a pretty good workout. What if you're on soft earth? What if the ground is wet?
It's much harder.
When you pull over on the side of the road, how far off on the side should you really ought to be?
As far as you can, and be on the shoulder where the jack will be on the shoulder. Sorry, got to keep going.
This is pretty hard, y'all.
Right there. That's good.
It's loose.
Now we need to take the lug nuts off. And we want to be sure we never put anything under the car or under the tire now because it could fall. So always keep your hands to the side and don't lay down and put your feet under the car. It seems like it would help, but it would be very dangerous.
Okay. So, there we go.
Okay, we're going to remove the tire, and the reason we didn't raise it real high is now we can grab the tire and scoot it off of the car without having to lift it. The tire's heavy.
And we don't have to actually lift the tire, we can just roll it.
That's right.
Now the spare's pretty light. I was able to
It
lift
is.
it pretty easily.
It's a little smaller too, so it's going to be a little taller.
Now once you have a spare, of course, you can't drive. How fast can you drive with a spare?
On yours it says 45 miles an hour.
Okay.
Now we have to center it on these lug bolts right here. That's the hard part, by the way. And once we get it on there, now we're going to put the lug nuts on as tight as we can by hand.
So now we've got all the lug nuts screwed on by hand, and I'm putting the last one, tightening it by hand. We need to put it down on the ground first. This should be snug enough by hand. Then once we have it tightened up by hand, we let it back on the ground. And we need to make sure that we tighten these up real good again so that your tire doesn't go rolling off as you're heading down the road. That part worries me too, Larry. I would hate for that to happen.
You need to put as much effort in tightening the lug nuts as you did loosening them. So you know how much pressure you put on it to remove it. You need to put that much pressure on it when you tighten it. So we're going to stand on it.
Step on it the same way.
But we need the tire on the ground before we do that. So we've basically put the spare on the ground. All we need to do is let the jack down. We have to drive 45 miles an hour. Be the nerd on the highway. And
should your baby have your flashers? If you're driving 45 and it's a 65, should you leave your flashers?
it wouldn't hurt, but honestly, no. You'll be okay. You're above the minimum speed, and you'll get to the next town and get it fixed.
All right, sounds good.
Jan knows how to put her spare on.
I'm excited. Now I've done it once. I feel like I could do it any day. Be safe out there on the road. Maybe get yourself a little emergency kit, and I hope you learned something from the little spare tire change experience we've had here today. Thank you so much, Larry Williams, for all of your help.
Thank you. Hopefully you won't have a flat, but at least now you know how to do it.
Now you know.